You have a backyard. You want to make money from it. And right now, you're stuck between two animals, quail or rabbits. Both of them sound great on paper. Both of them have people online raving about them. And both of them have people online who lost money on them. So which one is actually going to work for you? I've raised both. I've made money from both. And I've lost money on both too. So I'm not here to sell you a dream. By the end of this video, you're going to know exactly which one to start with. And the answer might not be what you're expecting. Let's get into it. Welcome back. If you're new here, glad you found this place. We talk real homesteading on this channel. Not the Instagram version. Not the look how peaceful my life is version. The real version. The one where things go wrong, you figure it out, and you keep going. If that's what you're here for, hit subscribe. New videos every week. You don't want to miss what's coming. Now, 6 categories: getting started, startup cost, ongoing cost, profit potential, space, daily time. We're going to go through all 6, and at the end, I'm giving you my honest verdict on which animal wins the money game in 2026. Let's go. This is where most people get stuck before they even begin. You watch a few videos, you make a list, you get overwhelmed, you do nothing. So let's talk about what getting started actually looks like with each animal. Rabbits? Honestly, one of the most beginner-friendly animals you can start with. You set up their cage, you give them food and water, they handle the rest. Breeding is almost entirely on them. Put a male and female together, and roughly 31 days later, you've got a litter of kits. Mama does the feeding, the cleaning, all of it. Your job is just to show up, fill the bowl, and try not to name every single baby. Quail are a different story at the start. And I want to be straight with you here because a lot of videos skip over this part. To start with quail, you need an incubator. You need a brooder, a warm, controlled space for the chicks to survive those first weeks. These birds hatch needing you. They can't regulate their own body temperature. They need specific heat levels or they won't make it. It's not hard, but it does require real attention in those first 2 weeks. Here's the flip though. Once quail get through that early stage and into a proper permanent cage, they basically run themselves. Automated feeders, automated waterers, egg tray. Your daily job becomes check on them, grab the eggs, top up food. That's it. So the honest answer on ease? Rabbits win the beginning. Quail win everything after that. And when we're talking about making money, the long game is what matters. Nobody wants to do this math, but you have to. For rabbits, your biggest upfront hit is going to be the animals and their housing. Quality breeding stock runs between $20 and $50 per rabbit. You'll want at least 2 pairs to start, so you're already looking at up to $200 just in animals. Then, each rabbit needs its own cage, roughly $50 to $100 each when you factor in feeders and waterers. Before you've bought a single bag of feed, you're a few $100s in. And here's something I wish someone had told me earlier. You can't fully automate feeding with rabbits the way you can with other animals. Their needs change. You have to watch them, especially nursing does. There's a hands-on layer that stays with you. For quail, the entry point is lower, a lot lower. 30 fertile hatching eggs online, around $20 shipped to your door. A reliable incubator runs about $90. A simple brooder setup you build yourself? Maybe $40 using a storage bin, a heat lamp, and some basic feeders. For around $150, you have everything you need to hatch your first flock. Yes, a quality commercial cage for 30 birds can run $400 or more. But you can build your own and cut that cost way down. The bigger point though, once you have a breeding trio, one male to every 5 females, you never need to buy hatching eggs again. Pull eggs from your own flock. Put them in the incubator. 17 days later, you've got a new batch of birds. Your startup cost pays itself back and keeps going. On pure startup cost, quail are the more accessible entry point. Rabbits aren't far behind if you source smart, but quail get you in the door faster. This is where the real money conversation starts. For rabbits, your main recurring expense after setup is feed. A herd of 10 to 12 rabbits will eat consistently. You can supplement with hay, garden scraps, fresh grass in warmer months, but there's always a feed bill. And there are seasonal costs that sneak up on you. Summer, you're actively keeping rabbits cool. Heat stress is a real threat. Winter, water systems freeze. You're dealing with that every single day. Not deal breakers, but real costs in both money and time. For quail, the ongoing cost is almost hard to believe. A 50-pound bag of feed costs about $20. A flock of 30 birds will barely make a dent in that bag in a month. Quail are tiny animals with tiny appetites and enormous output for their size. The return on every dollar of feed you put in? Genuinely impressive once they're in full production. And unlike rabbits, quail handle temperature swings more easily after the chick stage. You still protect them from hard freezes, but the daily management is lighter. On ongoing cost, quail win. It's not even close. The monthly difference in feed expenses between a comparable rabbit herd and a quail flock adds up fast. And that gap matters enormously when you're trying to turn a profit. Here we go, the section you've been waiting for. Let's start with rabbits, because I think most people underestimate how many ways these animals can actually make you money. The most obvious income stream, selling live animals. Build a reputation for healthy, well-raised stock, and you can sell kits for $25 to $50 each. People buy them as pets, as 4-H animals, as starter breeding stock. One doe can produce 6 to 12 kits per litter and have multiple litters per year. Do that math. Then there's rabbit meat. Lean, high protein, low fat, and demand is growing. A processed rabbit can sell for $20 to $30 at farmers markets or through direct sales, sometimes more depending on your market. Important note, regulations on selling meat vary by state and region. Some places require USDA-approved processing to sell commercially. Research your local laws before you count on this revenue stream. There's also rabbit pelts. $5 to $15 each if you learn the tanning process. Not life-changing on its own, but it means you're getting value from the whole animal. And then there's rabbit manure. This might be the most underrated income stream in all of small homesteading. It's cold manure, meaning gardeners can apply it directly without composting first. They love it. Bags sell for $10 to $25 at farmers markets and on local Facebook groups. Your rabbits produce it whether you plan for it or not. That's as close to passive income as homesteading gets. Now quail. Quail eggs are where the daily money lives. They're a specialty product. They photograph beautifully. They carry a premium price because you can't just grab them at any grocery store. At farmers markets, A dozen quail eggs sells for $4 to $6 easily. In higher-end markets and natural food stores, some people charge $8 to $10 a dozen. Here's what makes this powerful. A single female Coturnix quail starts laying at 6 to 8 weeks old. She lays nearly one egg every single day during peak production. Run 20 laying females, and you're looking at roughly 20 eggs a day. Price that at $5 a dozen, that's nearly $10 a day in egg revenue. From 20 birds. Scale up to 50 females, and the numbers start to actually move the needle. Then there's quail meat, ready to harvest at around 8 weeks. Fast turnaround. At restaurants and specialty markets, quail is a premium product. Processed birds sell for $10 to $15 each, sometimes more. 2 birds make a full meal for an adult. And because quail regenerate in 8 weeks, you can run multiple batches in the same space throughout the year. The honest comparison? Per individual animal, a rabbit generates more money than a single quail. But per square foot of space and per dollar of feed invested, quail absolutely dominate. Rabbit income comes in bigger chunks less often. Quail income comes in smaller amounts every single day. If you want steady, predictable weekly income from a small operation in 2026, quail make a very strong case. If you want bigger occasional payouts and more product diversity, rabbits are the better play. The smartest homesteaders I know, they run both. I know a lot of you are working with limited land. Maybe you've got half an acre, maybe just a backyard, maybe a backyard and a strong opinion. That's enough. Let me show you why. Rabbits need more room than quail. Each breeding rabbit needs its own cage, enough space to hop, stretch, move like a real animal. Stack your cages vertically and you can run a solid herd in a small footprint. Some people manage their entire rabbitry in an 8 by 8 foot shed. That's not much, and it's a real livestock operation. Quail, though? Quail are almost laughably small in their space needs. These birds naturally gravitate toward tight, covered spaces. In the wild, they hide in low brush and grass. They don't need sky. They don't need room to run. A cage that's 2 feet wide, 1 foot deep, 1 foot tall can comfortably house 5 quail. Stack those cages on shelves in a garage or shed. You can run 30 birds in a space that will genuinely surprise you. Someone who got us started with quail was keeping his entire flock on an apartment balcony. A balcony. Fresh eggs every morning. For small space homesteading, quail win this category. No contest. But both animals are genuinely accessible if you don't have acres to work with. All right, I promised you a verdict. Here it is. When it comes to which animal makes more money on a small homestead in 2026, accounting for feed costs, profit margins, startup investment, time, and scalability, quail have the edge. The daily egg income is consistent. The feed to output ratio is genuinely remarkable. The startup cost is lower. And the time you get back every week from not managing quail versus rabbits, that time adds up to something real. But here's what I actually believe. Rabbits bring something quail can't match. The product diversity is real. The meat quality is real. The manure income is real. And there is a very specific kind of buyer, the homesteader, the pet owner, the health-conscious meat buyer, that rabbits speak to in a way quail simply don't. The people genuinely building income from small livestock in 2026 are not choosing one or the other. They're running both. Using quail for daily consistent egg income and fast meat production. Using rabbits for larger periodic payouts, manure sales, and live animal sales to beginners exactly like where you are right now. If you can only pick one today, start with quail. Lower cost, faster return. Less daily commitment while you're learning. Get your systems dialed in. Build your confidence. Then add rabbits when you're ready for the next level. But if someone tells you that you have to choose forever, don't listen to them. Your homestead is big enough for both, even if it doesn't feel like it yet. I hope this helped you actually think through your options. No fluff, no fairy tales, just straight talk from someone who's been in the mud with both of these animals. Drop a comment right now. Tell me, Team Quail, Team Rabbit, or are you going all in on both? I read every single one, and I genuinely love hearing where you are in this journey. If you're not subscribed yet, what are you doing? Real, honest, practical content every single week. Hit subscribe, hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's keep building.